in, um, they are the people that you don't know about who make the influences. So quick little fact, 15 years ago, hairstylists started to get a little lazy in the salons, and they were pulling their hair back in ponytails, and they weren't really doing their hair anymore. They weren't staying on top of the color. So their consumers started to do the same thing. They started to let their hair grow. Their highlights started to grow out. They started to wear their hair in ponytails, but then a few people across the country and the world noticed that people were not getting their haircuts as often. The sales were down significantly in the salons, the beauty industry. People stopped maintaining as often. So Intercoiffure got together and within reason made big changes with their staff. Some of these people have 500, 600 staff members, salons all over the world. They cut their hair, they styled their hair, and within 6 months, the short hair started to literally come back in the country and around the world. And then again, the Hollywood, the runway shows, print magazines started to then bring back the short hair. Consumers started to see that because their hairstylist was looking fresh again. So they started to, again, spend more money. So that's the kind of stuff that I was exposed to. I've done Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada runway shows. I've been backstage to a lot of this stuff in New York City, which is just, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to do stuff like this. I'm 38 years old now. I can still call some of these people in the hair industry and they still remember me as the young man that was sweeping backstage and handing them bobby pins and rollers. So the biggest thing that I want everybody to take out of this is that in this industry and in life general, you have to be a giver, not a taker. And when you give, you receive tenfold. A lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around, if I give my time, I should be compensated for this immediately. Think about long-term compensation, long-term investment. It's not always about being paid right then and there. So because I had this mentality, I was able to call these people, go and shadow them. I would shampoo for them. I would do a blow dry for them. I would do a roller set, and they were more than willing to have me come up and spend time with them because I was always putting myself in a position of not what can you do for me, but what I can do for you. I would bring coffee, get bagels, do things that really they didn't even necessarily care for, but I was very grateful for the opportunity to stand on the hip of some of these people who have spent countless time, energy, and money to perfect, what they've used to build their brand, build themselves, and they were giving it to me for free. And people would pay thousands of dollars to go to their classes, and here I am shampooing for these people. So, if any one thing, in the hair industry, you have the ability, to go really super far. It's the oldest profession in the history of mankind doing hair. It's word of mouth. So you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on billboards and you make feel good, going to tell everyone about you. When you make them feel bad, they're going to tell even more people about you. So it's a little bit of the history with the cosmetology. Growing up in Southwest Philadelphia and South Philly, I grew up going to the Barber Shops. So this is now fast forward, I'm 24 years old, and I approached my mentors. There was something that wasn't sitting right in my core being about doing women's hair. I always wanted to be a barber. I was going to go to barber school in Broad Nedrow in North Philly. Didn't want to go there because of the drive and so on and so forth. And I just wasn't committed to that part of my life at that time. So I had 2 kids, just about 24, left the salon. Everybody thought I was nuts. And I was driving one day, and I was fishing with my two oldest daughters, and I saw a sign on a barbershop. It said, "Due to surgery, don't know when returning." So at the time, their mother was doing nursing school, so I was taking care of the girls. I called the number, and on a Saturday morning, I was going to ask if I could work part-time while the barber was not there. So I had my cosmetology license. By law, you have to have a barber manager in a shop with a cosmetologist to cut hair. So I called on a Saturday. They decided on Friday night, Fran, John, and the brother, that they were selling the business. So I pursued this relationship for 6 months, and I bought the barbershop. This was my first barbershop at 24 years old. I borrowed $5,000 from a friend, $5,000 for another friend, sold some jewelry that were heirlooms or whatever, went into this barbershop, and it was closed for quite some time. Unfortunately, the owner was an alcoholic, had cancers, did not have the best. He was a great man, great person, but didn't have the best reputation in town for a haircut. So I made this investment. I clean out the barbershop. I throw everything out. There was a heavy smoker in there. Smoke. Cleaning the first week, I spent $60. So I thought this is the best decision I ever made. That was every single one of John's clients who came from the VFW to see me, the new barber, because the wife made them. And then after that, which I have in my office to always keep me in a humble state, this is my first register book of receipts. I have had this for many years. It's a humbling. I use this. I do educate nationally now, and I bring this with me all the time when I educate barbers from across the country. So I can show you 6 haircuts, 4 haircuts, 3 haircuts, $53, $73, no money. This is like 124.09. 09, I did 13 haircuts on January of 16th of 09 or 09. I did 3 haircuts. I made $59 or whatever it was. Like, I was charging $13 a haircut. It was cash, like whatever. So this is my first appointment book. Okay. This is how I used to document haircuts. 2020, I have a point of sale. We have an app on the phone. I know how much money I made at any given time. I can tell you how much money I made in 2017 at this point because of the point of sale system, what the barbers are doing, right? So, because it's important that you measure. You cannot grow what you don't measure. In this industry, you have to measure how many haircuts did I do yesterday? How can I do 7 tomorrow instead of 6 today? So I opened up the barbershop, and then I thought, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I made a really bad mistake. So I stuck it out. I made sure that everybody in my town, okay, this is Sellersville, Pennsylvania. As soon I wore a 3-piece suit to work every day, fedoras. People thought I was going to a funeral or I was going to court. I did not fit in this community. Immediately they knew I was not from around there, but I kept it professional. I made people feel good and look good. In a 10-mile radius, everybody and their mother knew who I was. Whether you were getting a haircut from me or not, you knew who I was. I made sure that if you didn't want a haircut from me, you would remember when you were talking to someone about a haircut. I know this guy, he's the new guy in town. He's got a barber shop. You should go see him for a haircut. I grew my business organically. Social media and Facebook was not popular at that particular time. It just started to show its face. I opened up my barbershop on November 24th. My ex-wife's father died from a massive heart attack when I put my key in the door. I had 2 people waiting for a haircut outside. My first ever I get a door. I said, Ari, I opened shop on December 2nd. It was the lighting of the Christmas tree. So my point is that in our journey, trials are going to come. Life is not fair, and there's a lot of things that will happen. Fast forward, I went through that. And then in 2009, when I just opened that winter, or that May, when I opened up my shop, I went through some heavy duty legality things, battles that were very crushing, mentally, emotionally, things that I had no control over, and I did not bring it on myself. It was brought to my doorstep. So I had a lot of support from friends and family. My shop was shut down for a period of time. I had a friend come who was a barber friend, a very good friend of mine, still to this day, a good friend of mine. He cut hair at my barber shop to maintain the integrity of the shop being open. So that was the first year of business for me. And it was a point where I thought maybe I should just walk away from this and cut my losses. So I worked through that, and had my first employee with the first year and a half. He stole my car, and did some other stuff. So I had to call the police on him. That was my first employee. Told me he could use a straight razor, so I let him shave my head. I'm bald, and he butchered me. I looked like Freddy Krueger for 10 days in a row. So that was my first employee. Second employee ended up working out, hard worker. So a couple of years into it, I'm cutting hair. We got some momentum. I got another barber. We're in like an 800 square foot shop, very small. We maximized the chairs. You had to kind of do a hop, skip, and a jump in between chairs. When a guy was doing a shave, you had to like finagle around it. It was tight. A client of mine said, "Hey, Nikki, you got something kind of good here. Have you ever thought about like duplicating it? Maybe opening up another barber shop?" And I had all these grandiose ideas, but I thought that I was going to get there by just loving people and cutting hair. Like, we're just going to be the best cutters ever. Well, that's not how you run a business. You can't run a business off of feeling. Okay. So, I got a business coach, and my life changed. My personal life dramatically changed, and my business changed because of the business coach. The business coach happened to be my uncle, who is a life coach, business coach. And I didn't realize it, but at family parties, when I would see him, he would ask me certain questions. Where's the growth? What are you doing? How are you doing this? And then when I told him a client recommended a business coach, he said, that's what I do for a living. So we had to talk about the fact that we were family. He's my father's cousin, my first cousin, so I consider him to be an uncle, and we're old school Italian family. So we wanted to make sure that this did not interfere with the tightness of our family by doing business together. So we came to a conclusion that we would experiment, we would do it. So I paid my uncle a lot of money. Also, it was not free. I paid him $1,500 a month, as I had a second shop in Plymouth Meeting. I had to shut that shop down eventually because it just wasn't working out. And I had 3 or 4 employees leave me as we progressed. So I thought I was going to get this business coach. I was going to make all these great decisions, and we we're going to open up more shops. But unfortunately, I had the wrong people on the bus. And that's what's important too. Whether you own a shop or you work in a shop, you need to be careful who you surround yourself with. If you're cutting hair next to are negative, going to have as a human being on your customer service. So if you are ever in the wrong environment, you need to get out of it. That's what's very important, to get out of it, and you have the ability. It's as far as east as the west. You got to turn around, literally turn around and flee from that. Being around the wrong people is like being behind bars. It's terrible. So I thought I had this great team of barbers, and we spent a lot of time together. We went to each other's weddings, and like we were a family. It was a tight knit community of us. And then when I started to create structure and a business model, there was major kickback. This is fake. This is fake baloney corporate. You're a barber shop. You're not a business. So there, in our industry, it's unfortunate that, especially in the barber shop, barbers have done things the wrong way for many centuries. Cosmetologists have not. They pay their taxes, they show up to work on time, and they make a lot of money. Barbers, unfortunately, would run numbers out of the back of the barber shop. They would sell drugs. They did things, they wouldn't pay taxes. They were, a lot of barber shops now are $15 cash a haircut because they're not paying tax. That's not an environment that you have to be weary about as well. I teach this to my students. When someone pays you 70% cash, 60% cash, and doesn't even 1099 you or a W-4, I would stay away from that. Yes, you can walk around with a couple grand in your pocket, but the longevity of that is you'll work at McDonald's, Burger King, Walmart. Nothing wrong with that, but you will burn yourself out of your industry because you were miseducated in your upbringing as a barber. So I was very lucky that I came from the cosmetology background, and I took those life skills, business skills, and implemented that as an owner, and it was unheard of. So I lost a lot of my barbers. We went to appointments. We used to do walk-ins. We didn't eat lunch. We didn't go to the bathroom. We cut hair all day for 13, 14, 15 hours a day. We made a lot of money, and you paid for it physically, mentally. At the end of the day, this industry, you have to be willing to listen to people. You have to be willing to really diagnose and prescribe the right haircut. But you'll hear barbers and cosmetologists say that they are more than just a hair cutter. They are a psychiatrist, and they're not paid enough. When people sit in your chair, they are trusting you to touch their face, and they're their personal. That's very personal when you are touching people. There's a very big trust, and you'll see physically people in the chair. You will see them drop their shoulders and relax. Drop their shoulders and relax, and they will say some things to you that you in your head are like, did they really just say that to me? Did they really just confess that, like they've been laundering money from their spouse for 5 years and they're going to leave them and go to an island? And you're like, what the heck just happened? Yes, they will say some off the wall stuff. So just have a carpenter come and fix a wall. People enjoy going to their barber more than likely in their hairstyles. So having the shops, we get the business coach, and then things start rolling. And we have continued over the last 8 years, open up multiple barber shops. The apprentice program is now at our academy. We have almost 4,000 square foot facility in Lansdale, which is where we train our students full time. So, the biggest difference between cosmetology and barbering is actually I have one right here. It's the straight razor. So this is the biggest thing, is the straight razor. This is what gives us the ability, our barber license gives us the ability to do straight shaves. Cosmetology doesn't. We can do highlights, we can do color, we can do touch up, we can do relaxers, we can do perms. And the only thing that I think we can do everything that cosmetologists can, actually. We just have the ability to do straight razors. So this is the difference. When you get a barber license, you are licensed to use this. And if you have cosmetology license, you're not. Do I know cosmetologists who do straight shaves? Yes. I'm not going to tell you that that doesn't happen. Are they skilled? Yes. They're highly skilled. If something happens, they're in big trouble. They could lose their license, if a state board inspector comes in, all kinds of things can happen. So, that's the biggest thing. It's typically for you to get your license, cosmetology is $1,250, I believe, and barbering is $1,250. At our program, it's 10.5 months, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 6 hours a day. But the people who put in 6 hours a day here, it's okay. But we have students who cut hair outside of here. They're cutting friends, they're cutting family, They do everything in their power to cut hair. They are advancing much faster than some of the other students who just do the bare minimum just to get by. So again, my background, part of also the growth of, you know, the organization, myself through barbering. Again, I've traveled the country. I've been to Japan. I've been to South Korea. I've cut hair on stage in South Korea in front of thousands of people. Never thought that hair cutting would take me to a place of traveling. You know, as a barber, I made very good money. Again, I worked for the right people. That's the biggest thing. There's different avenues you can take. Do you want to own? Do you want to work for someone? Owning is not for everyone. It is difficult. There's been days where I opened them and turned my because of the stress. The COVID hit. Obviously, that's the stress that no one ever expected in their life, whether you own a shop or you work for somewhere. It was unknown factors and scary. But, you know, in our industry, it is, you have to be on. You are the director, you're the movie star, you're the writer, you're the screenplay, you're the makeup artist, you're the hair artist. Like, you in your chair, and your chair in front of you, that's your office, that's your cubicle. Is it clean? Is it professional? You know, what do you look like when you go to work every day? You know, all those things factor into, you know, your ergonomics. You're standing for 11 hours a day. It's no joke. You know, I had to see a chiropractor for a year and a half to redirect my physical upper torso because of years of being hunched over and cutting hair, where it was extremely painful. You know, right now I go and get a massage once a week to, again, reconstruct some of the bad things, you know, habits that I had when I was cutting hair. So it really is a beautiful career. It's a career that is looked down upon in society within reason. It's stereotyped, like, oh, you do hair, okay, you know. Do you work somewhere else? I have people still ask that in our barber shops, like, oh, do you have another job? And my barbers are like, no, my wife's at home, or, you know, my significant other's at home with the kids, and, you know, like, no, I work full time as a barber and I make good money. So, you know, what was that question there? How do I pull those questions up?
We can read them to you, or you can hit there's a chat button at the bottom. You can click that and we can read them for you. So the first question is, what's the age requirement to attend the academy?
I believe it's 16 years old. You need a GED or eighth grade education. So don't drop out of school. I'm not saying that. That's not good. Stay in school. I wish I did. And it's 16 or above, yes, for the age requirements by law. Were there any other questions?
Yeah, can you tell us about the program that you have running now?
Yeah, so at the academy, yeah, how much does it cost? Our program is $15,000. It's Monday through Friday, 6 hours a day. Now, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the new year, we have new instructors that we've been training. We will be doing a 12 to 6 program, so there'll be 2 shifts, and then potentially in the future, 6 months out plus, we'll be doing like a 5 to 9, which is super part-time. That's 18 months. With the program, you're working on, like, we do a lot of mannequin work when we're not cutting hair. We have to teach you state law regulations, certain amount of hours for perm rods, color relaxers, color application, straight shaves. You know, the haircuts that we typically teach are low fade, medium fade, and high fade, your classic haircut. And then we have a system that's very simplistic, but because of its simplicity, people try to overcomplicate it And that's what we all do when we're first learning something anyway. But it's like an ABC 1, 2, 3 program. And we have students who have never cut hair in their life. They are not artistic. And within 500, 600 hours, they're doing some pretty good haircuts. We teach every kind of hair you could possibly learn on: coarse, thick, curly, wavy, straight, porcupine straight, it doesn't matter. Anywhere from a 1-year-old to a 99-year-old can come in here and we'll cut their hair. We teach medium, like shoulder length haircuts for men, which can apply for a female as well. So our students will cut, a woman who may want like a shoulder length or longer with a longer layer. They should be able to handle that because I have a very strong scissor background, obviously, with the cosmetology. So our school, what really does help us stand out is that we have best of both worlds, where they're very heavy on scissor technique and also clipper technique. So we've kind of infused over the years what I've learned from cosmetology and barbering and kind of made it one, which has been really cool to have. Usually barber schools students will come out and not even know how to use scissors. And then cosmetology, you come out and you kind of have no idea how to use a clipper. So we've been able to infuse the two, which has been good. So that's pretty much it for the program. Yeah.
If students, since we have mostly students in the cosmetology program here, do any of their hours or time count towards anything, or is this something that they have to start from scratch?
Great question. If they finish the program and they were to obtain their cosmetology license, which now you only have to do a theory, you don't have to do the theory and practical. If you get your cosmetology license at school, you will get credited 595 hours with us.
You kind of went out a little bit. So
we'll do the program. Apologies. Yes. So we have the Cosmetology Crossover program. So it's 7.5 months, and you only need to do 695 hours. So that program is 12,000. And the concentration for that program for the cosmetologist is barbering, clipper, scissor, and razor, using the straight razor. So chapter 13, 16, 17, chapter 4 is the most important, infectious control, which I know you're learning that in cosmetology school. So we hyper focus on the things that you weren't getting in your cosmetology program naturally, the straight razor, and we hone in majorly on men's clipper cutting.
Hey guys, so make sure you put questions in the chat. We have about maybe 10 or 15 more minutes.
Yeah, please, any questions that anybody has, do not hesitate to, now's the time to ask, because if you're considering barbering, and or even staying in cosmetology, I would love to be able to answer any of your questions.
Would you be able to leave your email in case students want to contact you afterwards, or how's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess, should I put that on the chat? I can leave that with you, Nicole, or?
Yeah, when you put it in the chat, the kids can see it and they can just take it.
Oh, okay, cool. So, okay, chat. All right, can you repeat, please? How much is it?
And I can put it in there too, actually.
Yeah.
I have your email.
If anyone ever wants to go to one of our, you're more than welcome to go to one of our barber shops in Shadow. So you send me an email, I'll set it up with my GM. Then we'll have one of the managers. You want to hang out for 4 hours with one of our managers while he's cutting hair, or, talk to one of our junior barbers. We have junior barbers that just graduated from the academy. Abby is a crossover cosmetologist. She did our program. So she's actually going to be working at one of our barber shops in Doylestown. We're opening up a shop in Doylestown January 2nd or 3rd. So she'll be cutting hair there. And then you have the ability, we have 6 shops. If you ever want to come to the school, you're more than welcome to come and, hang out for an hour at the school and observe what we're doing, what's going on. And, and take it from there.
And the school is in Lansdale, right?
Yeah, we're on Main Street right by the Kugel Ball. Like, get off the train and walk to the school. It's right there.
Okay, so they can take like the train from Norristown if they don't have cars and just go right there?
Yes, they can.
Awesome. And
get off
you repeat that last line for us?
train, and they can get off the train and walk to the school.
Okay.
We take the train so our barber shop being built in Doylestown is in the ticket booth. It's in the train station. So it's kind of cool. You can get right off the train and walk into the barber shop. And it's like, we kind of honored the concept of the train station. So we have tile walls in there and like maintain the color concept of what's on the outside, of the shop. So it's going to be, we're excited to be there. It'll be fun.
And is it only one train stop in Lansdale?
There's another one that's 9th Street, I believe. It's a little further past us, but you want to get off at, I believe it's like Lansdale. That's the exit.
Okay.
Let me see that. There was another question, I think. Chats.
Are there any supplies that need to be purchased or a kit?
That's all. Yeah. Okay. Great question. Sorry. I'm like, yes, you get a kit, you get mannequin heads, you get clippers, you get scissors, you get perm rods, you get everything you need to, 1, be a professional barber when you leave here, and 2, to use for state boards. So you have game boards here. We're constantly practicing. We do 2 chapters or 1 chapter every 2 weeks. We do a quiz on a Friday. We review the following week. We do a test on that Friday. And also you have projects due. So we're making you do projects in regards to that chapter, and they're due the Friday of the test. Yes, the kit is included in the price of the tuition. Yes.
Kayla is coming with the great questions. I love it.
Yeah. Please do. Yes. I'm sorry I'm skipping out on all those fine details.
We got a Kayla Riley and a Kayla Ray. And they're both rocking it.
You're okay. You guys want to see the school?
Sure.
All right, let me give me a second here.
That's what I'm talking about. This is the real deal right here. Give us the tea.
So this right now is our classroom. Say hi, everybody. So this is Norristown High School. So they're recapping their day right now in the classroom, and then this here this is my favorite wall right here. This is where all the shampoo bowls are, and then we thought this would be kind of cool to do. And then this is, half of the school here. This is where our waiting area is. Melina, are you leaving? Yeah. All right, I love you. I'll see you later. So this is our waiting area here. We do a lot of education. We do advanced education here for already licensed cosmetologists and barbers where people want to really just kind of step their game up. So we do that in the off season, try to do it before the holidays for them. So, and then this is we have 14 chairs all the way back. We have a break room, a place for, you have lockers, students to, store their stuff. We have a break room and, refrigerator. You can bring your lunch. We got a microwave. So this is these here, the students, obviously they're working on their mannequin heads if they're not physically cutting hair. There's always something to be doing at the looks. Somebody clean up. It's not cool. So I built this for my wife. So my wife does hair. I met my wife doing hair, which is really cool. I actually worked with her at Citrus when I was like a shampoo boy. And I built this studio for her inside the school. So
you met her in class?
I met her at the salon. She worked at Citrus as well. So this is her little boutique, salon. So which is cool. She does extensions. Me and her do weddings together. So we went up to Sky Zone and did a wedding. We got paid good money. She did the women's hair. I did the men's hair. And we got photos. So we're actually creating a business now, me and my wife, where we're going to travel the country and do like wedding couples. So we'll be like the wedding hair couple or whatever. She'll do women's hair, and I can assist her because I did women's hair. So I can set updos for her. The men are a lot easier doing shaves and whatever else. So, the sky, what's really cool too is in this, so here, let me make sure this doesn't go off Wi-Fi. So this school is right here. That's the train. Can you see it?
Yep.
So you just get off the train and walk right on over to the school.
So when you go on the A&E channel, don't forget about us.
I know I won't. Look, and also too, we do physical fitness here too. It's important that you take care of yourself. So you gotta, we make students do burpees or push-ups if they're late. If you're late here, we have this free haircut sign that we'll make you put on, and you got to go stand out like on the corner and draw in new business. So there's all kinds of things that you can achieve, but again, the sky is the limit in the hair industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I'll show you. We have our own product line too. We have beard oils, we have soap, cream, shave pucks, we have our own pomade. We just came out with our first pomade 7 months ago, and we're releasing our second pomade hopefully right before Christmas. So this is our products here, the Modern Mouth products, and then this is our first ever pomade. This is my second shop in Percy, and then we're naming the second pomade, which is my favorite. That's going to be called the 7 East, which was the original Barber Shop. So this company here is where I was able to travel to Japan and South Korea Layrite. So I was a sales rep for the Northeast for Layrite. Years ago, and Billy Barbers and Travel. I point out this them. I've gotten to travel with them and educate. So I only say this to everybody, obviously with the utmost humility, that you can do this if you want. Like, you can go as far as you want. You want to make 30 grand a year, you can make 30 grand a year. If you want to make 100+ grand a year, you can easily do that. But you have to obviously, put the work in. In the beginning of my career, I made a lot of sacrifices. I lost a lot of time with hobbies, fishing, hunting, things that I personally enjoy doing. You got to find that balance. But in the beginning of your career, you have to cut hair. I used to have scissors with me when I went to parties. I'm not kidding. I would cut your hair. I'll cut your hair right now at this party. Let me get a stool. I would have a cape. Like, somebody would be like, "Oh yeah, I'll come into the salon." I'm like, "No, let's do it right now." Like, so constantly practicing. I would set hair at night before work the next day, and I would do an updo, 1 to 2 updos on a mannequin head before I even went to work. I mean, again, what you put in anything is what you're going to get out. So, how bad do you want it? Like, there's a lot you can do in this industry. And that's my biggest message is just, put in the work, put your head down, don't look to the left or to the right and worry about what other people are doing. At times in my career, I would get fixated on what someone else was doing, and it would take me off of what was important and what I was doing. So one thing my mentor taught me was to hold back and take your time. It's adult. There's an adult learning sequence. You don't know what you don't know, and you become aware of something that you want to do and you stink at it. And then you become consciously good at something where you have to think about it, but you're actually starting to comprehend it. And then you become unconsciously skilled. Unconsciously skilled is where everyone wants to be in your profession, where you can have a conversation, cut hair, think about booking, how's life, how's the sports game or whatever, while you're actually doing your skill. That's where you want to be, and that takes time. So it's okay, work through the frustration and don't give up on it.
So we have one last question. We have another meeting right after this one. And so first of all, thank you so much for giving us your background story and story about your influences.
Thank you for having me.
And just showing us the shop. The shop is really, really cool. So, and then you gave us the receipts with all the kids in the back. So, guys, people there.
And the invite's there. If anyone wants to come.
And so with the tuition, is there any kind of I think the last time we talked, you said there was or was not a financial aid that comes with that in form of fast forward. Is there some kind of other financial aid?
We give you 2 years to pay that off. That's what we do because we're an independent school. We're not accredited or Title IV, which is okay. We're no different than any other school. Our students can't get loans from the government because we're not accredited. So we give you 2 years to pay off the 15. We do not require the full amount. Also, if there's any one student, Nicole, that's coming from your school, if there's a hardship, if there's a something that would benefit them, then we can have that conversation as well. I don't have a problem working something out differently for the kids coming fresh out of high school.
So is this some kind of a payment plan or payment arrangement when you said that they have the 2 years to pay it, they put down some kind of a deposit and then?
Typically, yes. We require $3,000 down for the program, and then they would pay $500 a month for 2 years. So that's the day they start. They would have 2 years to pay off the remainder balance. Now, also for the Cosmetology Crossover program, again, they would put $3,000 down, and then that program is you would owe $9,000, and then you would have 2 years to pay off that. So it's a little bit less of a monthly payment as well.
Okay, and so you said
good.
Monday through Friday, what are the hours? Is it every week for the whole year or certain seasons?
10 and a half months for the barber program and 7.5 months for the cosmetology crossover. And then let me see this here. There was just a question. What if we are still working while going to the academy? I know you mentioned the 2 shifts. So depending on where you're working, great question. A lot of people work like wherever they can. They make the commitment that they want to be in the program, and then they find work, not necessarily after they line it up, but they line it up to, we have employees or students doing Lyft, working at overnight jobs, Wawa, like doing whatever they can within reason to just, afford their responsibilities and still come to class. We are working on that one. And the best program that works for students right now is the 7 to 1, because they can work after the 1 o'clock. If we do a 12 to 6, that's a hard shift for someone to find a job. You're either going to be working at 5 in the morning till 11 and go right from work to, with us, 12 to 6, or you work after 1 o'clock, which most of our students, it works for them. So, you know, that's the options right now. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. If you have any other questions, because we do have another meeting and we have to jump on that one.
Yeah, my email's on there. Again, I'm all over the place. So, you know, I hit the shops every day. I'm at the school. So again, email me. I'll set something up. You can come hang out with my brother, Vinny. He's the main teacher here right now. He's an amazing teacher. He actually went to school to be a teacher. He went to Temple. So I taught him how to cut hair, and he has his teaching background. So he took this to a whole another level with his education. So really this pro as well. So don't hesitate to reach out. We'll make something happen for you. We'll get you in any one of the shops. We'll answer any one of your questions that you have. So
thank you so much, Mr. Presetta. If you guys can either leave him a nice comment in the chat about what you learned today, or if you can give him a nice little Zoom emoji, if you know where those buttons are.
Well, follow us on IG too, MMB Academy. So thank you guys. Greatly appreciate you listening. But yeah, it's MMB Academy is on Instagram. So yeah, thank you guys.